Welcome into our inaugural edition of Ask the AD. I'm Steve Baker, the voice of the Red Hawks, joined by the Director of Athletics for Miami University, David Saylor. And David, our chance for our fans to send in some questions to you via Twitter, and we've got 4 of them picked out here. So if you're ready, we'll just jump right to it.
I'm excited. I'm curious to hear what they have to say and answer some questions, and I'll be honest and as direct as I can be, I promise.
Very good. Well, the first one comes from Kevin. He says, I know there was a groundbreaking for the Gundlach Center recently, but I haven't seen much happening since. Any updates?
Yeah, actually, that's I always check my hair for gray hair every day about this project because I've been waiting for them to get started as well. But I'm happy to report that earth is being moved, and those that come to the game Saturday are going to see the progress. In fact, yesterday at practice, Chuck told me there was a lot of sound coming from that area, and it's a good sound. It means progress, and so that project is on track. We just needed to get some of the construction issues tied up in terms of the contractual obligation and the amount of money the project was going to cost versus what we thought it was going to cost. And we're now at that point where we've got everything signed, sealed, and delivered, and the construction company started.
And it does sound great down there.
No gray hair yet.
Yes, absolutely. Our next question comes from Matt. Any chance we get some Red Hawk teams playing in New York City in the near future?
You know, near and dear question to my heart. I grew up around New York area, so I certainly do want to play back that way. We do have some games with the Army coming up on the football schedule in 18, 19, 20 years. And I have had some discussions with the president at St. John's, Bobby Gempasaw, who was the provost at Miami.
Right.
And we've talked about potentially playing a basketball game at Madison Square Garden, which would be awesome for us and a chance to bring our team to the New York area.
That's one of those arenas I haven't been to in a basketball game, so I would love to see that.
It's a special place.
Come to fruition.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that'd be great.
Our next question comes from Chuck. He says, I know the current strategy with out-of-conference scheduling, but could you ever see a Power 5 team playing in Oxford? You
know, it's a good question, and Chuck is a fellow Ernst & Young alum that was in the same class as I was when I started, so he's up in Northeast Ohio. I do think that we need to build our program to a point that bringing that team in addition to the current schedule we have with a Big Ten team on the road, you know, with Cincinnati involved, I think we have to build our program to a point where we can get there. We could get those teams to come here now, but it's more in the lines of a 2-for-1 situation like that, which financially doesn't work for us right now and also doesn't work for us in terms of the competitiveness of the rest of our schedule. So what I'd like to see is get our program back a little bit going the direction we want to with wins and losses, ready for that kind of competition. And then yes, I do think there will be an opportunity to creatively schedule a game that's a 2-for-1 or even just a straight 1-for-1 with no financial implications with a Power 5 team. The number of Power 5 teams that are willing to come to a MAC school are getting smaller and smaller, but there are still some that would do that.
That was going to be kind of a follow-up question. That number is shrinking constantly because of the dollars and the potential for a loss.
It is, and especially with a lot of the conferences going to 9 conference games, that makes it even a little bit more challenging for them to play road games in their non-conference schedule. But there are still windows. I still do get calls from some of the teams that are not paying as much guarantee-wise that want us to do a 2-for-1. We frankly need the financial resources, so we need to play the bigger guarantee games. And we also have Cincinnati to contend with. So I think until we get our program back where it's built the way we want it built and the way everybody wants to see it every Saturday, I think we're going to try to keep the scheduling philosophy we have now in place for the next 5-6 years.
Very good. Our final question comes from Bruce. He's in St. Louis, and he says, what plans are there for a new basketball arena? Will he see one in his lifetime? By the way, he's 50, he says.
Well, I certainly intend to have that happen in your lifetime, Bruce, yes. It's interesting because we had our first graduating champion steering committee meeting. We have a great steering committee led by Jay Hayden. It's got all kinds of alums on there, basketball alums, football alums, field hockey, tennis. And we talked about basketball. You know, we've got all these projects going in football, and we've done some in hockey and in baseball. We can't ignore basketball. And that group was very much in favor of working towards a new arena versus trying to renovate Millette. And my goal is certainly in this campaign, if we can use the momentum of this campaign to at least have those discussions, I'd like to start doing that. And if we can't in this campaign, I think the university is going to have their own large next campaign at some point with a new president coming on board. And I would certainly expect that with that campaign, the athletic portion of it would be an arena potentially. And I think there's also a need for a rec center on this side of campus. And so where we can partner with the university and maybe come up with a creative solution, I'm all for it. And so yes, Bruce, you know, you're 50, you'll definitely see a new arena here before that time comes, and that's my goal too. So
That's what we like to hear. Well, that'll do it this time. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
no, thanks, Bake. Appreciate it.
David Saylor joining us, our Ask the AD segment. If you have a question for David, simply tweet your question to @Miami Redhawks. Thanks for watching.